Hello everybody, my name is Carole. Welcome to my sewing room and hashtag Friday Sews. I was really worried that this week was going to be really boring for you, but I don't think it is. I think if you hang in there, it has got some interesting bits. I've got some fabric to show you from Beyond the Pink Door that I managed to visit last week. I've made a skirt, I made an odd thing, and then I upcycled something, and it's bright and it's cheerful, and I'm so pleased with it. But let's talk about the skirt that I made. This was a skirt that I made for my mum, and I used a very simple pattern, New Look 6843. Now, I did show on my Friday Sews last week, but I had a very small piece of fabric. I think it was about 80 centimetres by the width of whatever it was, kind of a tweedy fabric. And that's all I had to make a skirt. So I chose this pattern because it had a tiny thin waistband, and what I was going to do, just the straight version, and make it as long as the fabric. I have made it, but I think, you hear about people talking about zero waste patterns. Well, honestly, hand on heart, this is the truth. That is all I have left. So I'm going to say that was a zero waste pattern for me. Just, that's it. That's all that was left of the fabric from making the skirt. So I was really thrilled I managed to make it. A couple of hiccups, mainly with the fact it's quite a thick fabric, but let's have a look at it. Now, obviously I'm not going to model it because the sizing isn't right for me, and there's no way my mum's going to have a photo taken of her in it. But here it is. So it is a very basic skirt. It's got 2 darts in the front, and it's got 4 in the back. One is longer than, tailor tack. One is longer than the other on the back, which I thought was a mistake first of all, but it wasn't. I'll come back to the waistband in a minute. So the reason it's rustling is because I did in fact line it. Now, I just had some navy linings, so because it won't be seen, it can hide, that's fine. I was worried about Mum. It didn't have a split in it. That version there, C, didn't have a split in it at all. And I was a bit worried about that. So with 2 tiny bits scraps, I made a kick pleat in the back. So what I had to do was actually add, you cannot tell, I did a brilliant job. I shouldn't really sing my own praises, but yeah, I added some fabric there and there, underneath there, and you can see I've made a kick pleat, but you can't tell it's an extra piece of fabric. The zip, okay, so we all talk about this, don't we? Easy 1 hour. That actually means the time that the needle is in the machine, if you see what I mean. So it's physically the sewing bit, not the prepping, not the pinning, not that anything else like that. In other words, it's a basic pattern, which it is, and it's the amount of time the needle's in the machine. They do test these, but it's by sort of qualified sewists in a machine room, and that's how they get the hour. But it gives you an indication of how many pieces they are and how easy it is to sew. So yeah, that is pure sewing time. So it had a waistband. Now this is quite a thick fabric, so when it doubled over, because it was so thin, there's no way that my Juki is going to make if I tried to make a buttonhole, but it didn't, so I had to do a hand sewn one in the end. You can't really tell, never easily get away with that bit of blanket stitch. And I also put one of these raised buttons on, just found a little button. The zip, they want you to do the zip. It's just a normal zip, it's not invisible zip, where you just have the 2 pieces meeting like that. And what happens is you quite often see the zipper teeth. I don't like that, so I did it the other way, where one side slightly folds over the other. You can see there. So this is when you have to press the seam allowance just under the seam allowance and the other one over, and you create like a little overlap, and that's much better finish to me than just having teeth showing. So yeah, as I said, it's quite a boring make, which is why I was worried about this being a boring Friday Sews. But I am really pleased with it. Mum will be pleased with it because this is a piece of fabric she's had for a long time. Oh, I did kind of put a little bit together, and actually when I went over this week she tried it on and it was hopefully going to fit, so I can always alter it. Oh, I had to hand sew the waistband. I had to hand sew the hem because I just didn't want to muck it up. So yeah, because I had no other fabric if I went wrong. So that was, I'm really pleased I made that. Just show you again. I've used this on myself, this pattern, just to make a little ditzy skirt. So easy. But obviously it's just a bit more difficult when I lined it and in that thicker fabric. But yeah, all done. So no, I don't need any more autumnal fabric. But we went down to the holiday home, which is the other side of Dorset, which is near to Poundbury, which of course where the lovely Beyond the Pink Door is with Andrea. And Chris was working on the Friday, so I thought I'll get myself in the car and just go and have a look. Now, £100 odd later, I end up with some fabric. I just want to say, and this was really weird for me, really strange, but I met a lovely lady called Jackie and her husband in the shop who recognised me, and honestly, I was I was blown away by it. It was really funny, but it was lovely to meet her. She made a special trip to see Andrea because she follows Andrea and watches her on YouTube and things like that. So it was really lovely. I had a lovely chat with her. So I hope she got home safely, and it was lovely to meet you, Jackie, and your husband. Sorry, I didn't know your name. Right, so the fabric I bought. Interestingly enough, so last week I made some cord trousers out of some Mind the Maker. I'm going to put this down because this is going to rustle. Out of some Mind the Maker cord, which was expensive. It was £30 a metre. When I went in to see Andrea, she had this stuff, navy. Now it feels just the same, just as nice. It is slightly stretchier, so I've got to be a little bit careful of that. But to make myself a navy pair of trousers, I bought some of this. So it is slightly different. Same kind of thickness of wale, is that right? But it is slightly stretchier, so a bit more cautious. But to me, this was £18 a metre and feels very similar. So I bought that. Then I bought this lovely piece of sweatshirting. Now I've got this in a burgundy. Yeah, I think I've got it in another colour as well, I can't remember. Burgundy, just with some flecks of different colour. I want to make a sweatshirt, just a plain sweatshirt, but I've seen a lot in the shops recently where they've just got kind of one pocket here. So I'm going to just add a pocket and kind of update the look a little bit. I did get some cuffing to go with it. I don't often do that, but I just thought I'd give it a go because I think it does give a better finish. Funny enough, all these fabrics coordinated. It was really weird. I saw, sorry, I keep bending down. I saw this Viscose Jersey, and this was in her remnant pile, and there's 2 meters of it, and obviously it's a paisley. Feels beautiful. So just had to get that. I know paisley isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I did like the colours in it, and I think it could be really pretty. I got 2 meters, so I could do a lot with that, or a little, depending. So last time I'll bend down, I promise. I fancy having a white jumper. I don't know why. But she had this lovely knitted fabric in. It's probably all polyester or something, but it's this knitted fabric. Fisherman's rib, slightly thinner. So I bought some of that. I just fancied making a white jumper. Don't know why. Now, you know I'm a big full girl, and I do indie patterns sometimes. But when I was chatting to Andrea, I said, "Oh, Andrea, I love your trousers. They were kind of a denim-y trouser, but they're kind of wide leg, look really nice." And she said, "Oh, they're the Lander pants. I wouldn't be without them." Now, I've heard a lot about the Lander pants for years, so I bought the pattern. Now, the good thing is, A, I bought the pattern and I didn't do a PDF, but B, I've done a true bias pattern before, but it's lovely tissue paper, which I like. And yes, I know they're expensive, these patterns. I'm going to have a go at the Lanterpants jeans, but I will not be doing the button front. I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan. I think you've got to be very slim. You've got to have a very flat stomach for the buttons. For practicality, I prefer a zip. But Andrea did tell me there's a bolt-on pattern you can buy, but I'm not going to do that because it's got included in the pattern. You've got the fly shield, the fly front. All you need is a zip, and just follow some instructions from another pattern. And I've done enough fly front zips to hopefully just add a zip instead. So I have already got some denim that I found in the cupboard, so I'm going to give those a go. Sorry, big full lovers, but give those a go and see how they compare to some of my new look ones. So that was all the fabric that I really didn't need, but hopefully I will get sewn up. If I just show you, see how lovely they all go together. So yeah, very expensive trip, but it was lovely to see Andrea and pop into the shop because I haven't been in since about March this year. Bits and pieces time. This segment should be called bits and pieces. I picked up this in a charity shop for £1. Now this is obviously a Sew Over It pattern, and it is quite old. It goes back a few years, but it's the Cora top. Looks a lovely sort of breezy top for summer. Basically, you could make a dress out of it, but I think it'd be quite a shapeless dress, to be honest. But pick that up for £1, which I didn't think was bad. I used to make loads of Sew Over It patterns, I will admit. I'd intended when we were away last weekend to do a lot of sewing, and I didn't. The only thing I made was 2 more of these Hemingway pouches. This isn't from the pattern, is this my own drawn pattern to use as glasses cases. And I've made these and I'm going to put them aside for gifts for Christmas. But they are lined, and I've actually kind of worked out the best way to line it now, which is good. Could just buy the pattern, but I'm just being a skinflint and not buying it. So that they are great fun to do. I also made another one. Spot the error. Yeah. I did the zip the wrong way on that one. I mean, there's no right or wrong way, is there? But yeah, it's certainly the opposite way round, then you probably should have done it. That one's lined as well. Yeah, all I did was put that piece of tracing paper the wrong way on the fabric. Simple as that. So I've got 2 more of these patches that I'm going to put aside. Now, I forgot to say, when I was looking for but I came across another video, Hemingway pouch. I came across a video, you know how YouTube automatically plays another sort of video after yours or the one you're watching. Add this one for this jar opener. So I thought, this looks such an easy, quick project, I need to go. So it's using this kind of, is it shelf saver or sink saver, this kind of strange silicone stuff that we use for shelves. And just a piece of scrap fabric, and this one, there's a reason I use this. This is Cafe Tropical, and it is from Schitt's Creek, the television programme. And I used my 6.5-inch square. That's all I did. And all you do is put them back to back, right sides together, sew them, leave a gap, sew them, turn them right side out. You have this, which is then a jar opener. Now you could have 2, one at the top, one at the bottom. How many times have I leant over to that table today? I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I mean, this isn't a stiff jar, but the idea is obviously you put it on your hand and then you can open it. Now, as I get older, I'm having more and more trouble opening jars, so I'm going to make a couple of these. Yeah, there's going to be so many uses for this little thing. I used to have something similar, like a silicone bit of, it was weird, it was shaped like a daisy, but I've lost that, and this will be super, so I'm going to make a few of those. But if you're looking for a gift project for someone, perfect. And the reason I use this is because I'm probably going to give this one to my son, because a couple of years ago I made him an oven glove from this fabric, so he will really appreciate that. So that's a fun little gift, and it is literally a square. Use this square, 2 bits, turn them inside out, close up the gap, top stitch around the edge, and voila, you have a jar opener. This is Editing Carole. Sorry to interrupt. I forgot to say, when I was sewing that silicone, obviously it doesn't want to slide on the machine under the foot or on the foot plate. So I used a piece of tearaway interfacing. I just put like a sheet of it underneath the whole project and then sewed. It sewed beautifully then, and then I just tore it away, and obviously I'm not going to damage it because it was against the silicone bit. So yeah, just a hint, it is hard to get through the sewing machine. Nobody else seems to have a problem, but I did. But using that tearaway stabilizer really helped. Now it is October, and I think, if I'm right, I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong, it's the Sew-Upcycle challenge. Now I don't often enter challenges, and I probably won't this, but just I think in October it's encouraging everybody to kind of upcycle a garment or something. But funnily enough, I had this dress. This is what's left of it. I bought this dress from a charity shop back in the summer and had done nothing with it. And the idea was I wanted to make a t-shirt from it. Now in 2 weeks' time we're going to go away somewhere warm, hopefully. And I thought, why don't I, as it's October and I'm going away, let's finally get around to upcycling this. Now this was a dress. I'll put the picture in. It was lovely. I loved the fabric. It is quite a thin viscose jersey, probably could be cotton jersey actually, but it's very thin. But all I had really to work with was the skirt portion, but I knew the pattern that I wanted to use that was not going to take much fabric at all, and that's the Itch to Stitch Solaire top. I had great success with this back in the summer, and believe you me, I made a lime one and a purple t-shirt, plain, which is probably better for the design here. I'll show you in a minute. But I wear those t-shirts all the time. I absolutely love the design, and I knew it wouldn't take much fabric, so I thought I would give it a go. Right, I'll bring it over on the mannequin and you can see it. Here it is. I mean, we've got our dull autumn days coming at the moment, haven't we? It's so bright and cheerful. It's going to be perfect for my time away because you can put so many colours with it. So this is a Solaire top. It is V-neck, but don't worry, if you're anything like me, it does not go very deep at all. And it's quite nicely fitted, so no chance of revealing anything. It's got the neckband binding, which I didn't like the instructions, so I changed it. Now I'm going to put that link at the top of the video for you, because I think I showed in there how I changed it just slightly, just didn't like the way it was done. So the Solaire top has this piece of elastic through. It's meant to be clear elastic, but I never have any, so I just do some normal 1 centimetre elastic. And there's something about that detail that I absolutely love. But of course, because it's a pattern fabric, it doesn't come, you don't see that too much at all. So in future, I probably won't use this pattern on won't use this sewing pattern on a patterned fabric. I think if you want to see this, I mean, I can see this detail, but you probably can't. Because it uses so little fabric, it's brilliant. You've got the bound armhole sleeves as well. In fact, I'll put a picture in because of the way the skirt was cut, when I had the pieces on the fold, it just looked as if it was going to be completely wrong, but I did make sure that the grain was straight. And the only way I did that was by lining up the flowers on the edge so I could tell, but it looked as if I was going to cut it on a strange angle. Now, on the dress, they had these 3 buttons. Lovely little heart-shaped buttons. So I want to put these somewhere, but I cannot. I have no idea where I'm going to put them. So I kind of kept that there, and I think I might put one, I don't know. I wish I had 4, because that could be even either side, but I think I might just put one there and there. Not sure. But obviously I will show you me wearing this. It is very light, it's very floppy, but I absolutely love it, and it's going to be perfect for holiday. And sometimes I make these things very quickly, certainly from, say, this shop, the dress that I picked up from a shop, and it turns out to be my favourite thing. And I have a feeling that this is going to be one of my favourite t-shirts, because I do love that pattern. Again, it's an indie pattern, but I bought it and I think it was about £3 something because it was on sale. You could easily do this yourself if you had just a normal pattern, say one of the big 4, something like 6217, I think. you could easily just add some elastic and you would create that same effect. But I have the pattern, so I used it. So I'm really, really pleased with that. I have got some projects that I really want to get sewing. They've been outstanding for a while, but I'm going to have a weekend at home this weekend, so hopefully going to do some sewing. I've persuaded Chris to go fishing, so that might give me some time, a bit sneaky. But I've just got these 2 bits of fabric I bought sort of in September, and I really want them sewn up. So this piece of viscose jersey here with the leaves, that's why I need to sew it. And actually this will be what I'm wearing, and this is what I wear a lot of, but this was New Look 6246 and then they rebranded it to 6803. So I really want to get that sewn. And then this piece of fabric that I bought at the end of the summer, it's a viscose jersey. I am desperate for this to be made up into something before it gets too cold and you can't wear it. And I want to use my favourite B6859 Butterick, where it's got that slightly gathered bit here, raglan sleeve. So this is a very favourite pattern of mine. I would love to think I could get those 2 done before holiday, and my lander pants and the sweatshirt, and you know what it's like. You just got so many plans buzzing around your head and you just don't have the time. So what should we talk about now? Yeah, one more thing that I haven't mentioned this week was the Roman costume. Now, last week, I told you that my daughter had approached me about a Roman day costume. My grandson, who's 8, is having a Roman day on Monday. This happens every year in the schools. And they wanted a costume. And I had great plans. In fact, I sat down with my grandson and I kind of worked out exactly what I was going to do. He didn't want a toga. He wanted to be a soldier. So I thought about what to do in my head, and I spent quite a long time doing it. And then she said to me that she was just going to buy something from Amazon. Now, half of me thought, amazing, brilliant. I can get on and do all the other sewing projects I wanted to do. The other half of me is thinking, I'm not needed anymore. I know you know what I'm thinking. So it's a different world now. It's a different generation. I mean, for I think it was £12, she could get a whole costume. Now, it would have cost me a lot more of that and time and effort. I mean, I was going to try and make an armour out of slats of sort of fabric, silver fabric, and then build it up and then put some here. And then I had brilliant plans, but it would have cost a fortune. And I know you can just get something from Amazon. And the way children are these days, I don't want to make anything that's embarrassing for him to wear. He's just sort of 8, 9, you know, it's kind of that age where they start to get a bit more embarrassed. So no Roman costume for me, and no Halloween costumes this year either, because we will be away, all of us together on holiday. So I have been let off quite easy, but as I said, half of me is thinking, yay! The other half's thinking, am I needed anymore? So just down to the life portion now. So of course, #Friday Sews is all about what we've been buying, sewing, and then a little bit about life. Got a quiet weekend this weekend. We were away last weekend, so I'll put some photos in of quite a nice long walk we did actually. Shame about the weather. It was very cloudy. The scenery would have been much better. We came across, talking about Halloween, we came across a gorse bush on our walk, which was completely covered in a web, and I've never seen a web like it. It was really spooky. It was like someone had draped kind of a cloth over it. Of course, we got Google now. I keep kicking the bag on the floor. We got Google now, so we typed it in and it was spider mites. Apparently spider mites can live on gorse bushes and they completely sort of cover them and cloak them and kill them off. So I'll put that picture in, but it is quite spooky. So that's that. As I said, this weekend I hope to get loads of sewing done. I've got that. I want to try the lander. I've got the sweatshirt I want to do. I've got so many gorgeous pieces of autumn fabric that I just want to get sewing. So hopefully I can get a good chunk into that this week. There we go. That's the end. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending time with me and subscribing or just being there and just listening to me. I really appreciate it. Do hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you have a lovely weekend and week ahead, and I will see you soon. Hopefully next week with another version of a different view, because that's something else I'm sewing. So look out for that next week, and I will see you soon. Goodbye for now. Happy sewing. So I thought I'd have a nice walk this afternoon. The weather is grey. You can see the coast behind me. Just looking at the countryside. About to go up an enormous hill. So I won't be filming then, but yeah, just, oh, you can't get better than this. So I hope you enjoyed this little mini walk with me in the countryside. It doesn't look too bad on video, but when I actually zoom in, you can see how small those people are up there and how high up they are. It's all brown, they're looking autumnal, all that ferns up there. But yeah, it looks like a baby hill until you zoom in and see the angle that I'm going to have to walk up. At the top, and to say I'm out of breath is an understatement, but this is the reason I come up here. So that's looking to the island of Portland, Weymouth, and then if you spin round, you've got Lyme Regis over there, and then onto the coast of Devon, Beer and Seaton, and that is the beacon itself that gets lit occasionally. And of course you've got all the countryside around, and that bench there has got my name on it for a cup of tea now.